Well, good afternoon to everyone on the East Coast, and good morning to the rest of the country. I'm showing 1 minute after the top of the hour, so out of sake for respecting everyone's time, we will get started. Hope everyone had a great end of April month end close, and hopefully we have some folks that are just dotting the I's, crossing the T with getting their month end wrapped up, and will be joining our training call here shortly. So, want to welcome everyone to the call. Thanks for being here today. We'll go ahead and share screen and get us kicked off. All right. So, share button, please work. There we go. All right. So today's discussion, I want to we talk a lot on our Thursday Cars and Coffees, right, about selling fleet management. And I wanted to boil this down to some of the core principles, the ideas, the concepts, and just try to simplify some of this because let's face it, it can be complex, right? And how we can really elevate our sales approach when I call it selling beyond the metal, right? Like, yes, our end goal is to move as many units as possible. But if we, and I like to use the phrase, stay or remain one dimensional, then it's either, hey, I have it in stock. Do you want it? It's a quick yes, no, move on to the next one. There's not a whole lot left to discuss or a lot of opportunity to explore with the client, right? But when we're able to go ahead and offer them a compelling reason of, hey, I'd love to sit down and understand how you guys are operating. Hey, I'm not in the market right now. Great. That's actually the time because right now when you're not in the market, I know when you are in the market, things can feel like they're going in fast paced and fast forward rate of speed. So I want to sit down and discuss just what your fleet right now. And it looks like that consultative approach. It looks like it's not my interest and agenda. It's the client's. And then we can really sit down and learn more about how they operate, right? So that's what we're going to focus on a lot for today's discussion. Please either come off mute if you have a microphone, or if you don't have a mic, appreciate you still being here. Please go to the chat box. You get the most benefit out of the training when you're interacting and engaging. And so I really strongly encourage, don't have a microphone, please go to the chat. If you have a microphone, don't feel like typing in the chat, please come off mute. I want to hear from everyone. You all have experience. You have different customer interactions and experiences in that line as well. And I want to hear from the just the amount of feedback, perspective, and just success that we've had and share a little bit here in the group setting. So I'm literally taking it down to the basics here. I want to start with just what is the definition of fleet management. We talk about selling fleet management often, right? So simply put, fleet management is that series of processes where a company, an organization, an entity can both see, so you have that visibility, and then manage, right? Being able to take some action based on that. Now, that is from the acquisition to the end of life. And we tend to focus so much on the acquisition end, which is, again, let me see what I have on the lot. Let me see what I can order you, et cetera. We sometimes can be narrow-minded and not think, hey, if we have the end in mind, that's going to be more acquisition for us, right? When that vehicle gets ultimately cycled out. So we sort of kind of look at the front end of the transaction and not at the whole in a holistic perspective in its entirety. So I want to really take a moment to just think about that. Is as we're satisfying our clients' needs, providing them these vehicles, these upfits, whatever solutions we're offering them. What is the end life of that vehicle look like, and the process and experience going to look like for that customer? Are we going to wait for the phone to ring, an email to ping, or the door to swing, right? Or are we going to go ahead and put the customer in our program, plant the seed, and talk to them about the benefits of cycling, have that end game in mind, and go ahead and set the expectations. Hey, this is the sweet spot for this unit. We're going to monitor it. We're going to help you manage it, and then we're ultimately going to cycle it out and replace it down the road, right? What's that benefit for you, Mr. Customer? Well, it gives you better information. When you have better information, you can make better decisions. So that's that visibility, being able to literally see whether it's the numbers, the data, the charts, the graphs, the historical information there, and just the insights could even be we tie that into the telematics piece too, right? Of where are my vehicles, what kind of condition are they in, how are they being treated, all that good stuff. And then that's going to ultimately improve their bottom line. How? Because they have a plan for their maintenance. It's not reactive. Uh-oh, this just broke. It's in the shop. Oh, by the way, something else is now damaged because you had the check engine light on for 129 days. No one knew about it, so we couldn't do anything about it. So we can plan that maintenance, be more proactive than reactive, reduce the downtime, right? And then ultimately, we're going to help that client with their total cost of ownership. What does that mean for them? Reduced expenses for the maintenance, for the fuel, a higher residual value, more equity in the vehicle, and then lastly, being able to provide them more profit to their bottom line, right? So wanted to take that sentence, a couple sentences there, and just really boil it down to the basics of why we offer our program, what it does for our clients, and how we can help them. Any questions so far? Go to the chat box, come off mute. I'll be monitoring both of those. But here in a minute, I am going to ask folks to either go to the chat box or come off mute. So please get your microphones and your keyboards ready because I want to hear from you today. So let's keep it going. Next, just taking the definition a little bit further with elaborating, expanding a little bit more. So fleet management allows our customers to run more efficiently. And that's twofold. Time, we know time is money, right? And time can cause aggravation, stress, dissatisfaction. So being mindful of time, but also budget. I've been on so many customer meetings where the client is really concerned about what their budget looks like for their fleet. Why? Because their fuel costs are growing each and every year. They don't know why. Their maintenance costs are spiking, and they're saying, "Well, I looked at last year, and we're 1.25, 1.3 times what we spent last year. We have the same, hypothetically, we have the same number of units in the fleet. Why are we spending more on maintenance? Because they don't have that information, so they can budget and plan proactively there, right? Monitoring the fleet, again, I call it business intelligence, the data that the vehicles can provide us, that information. When we have better data, we can make better decisions, like you see there on the screen. Other benefits, fringe benefits are improving efficiency. Obviously, we talked about reducing costs. But what about not just reducing costs, but from a budget standpoint, control costs? Mr. Customer, I want to show you how you can control those out-of-pocket costs by keeping your vehicles under warranty. Let me show you what that looks like. Again, businesses didn't exist. Businesses weren't created to save money. So we got to make sure we get that out of our head. If we're only selling on price, then maybe your client's going to ask you, can you do any better? I'd like to save some money here. But our clients are interested in maximizing their profitability. So if we're speaking that language, if we're offering them tools, technology, resources, upcycling plan, cash flow analysis to substantiate the consultative approach, then the recommendations that we're putting on the table for them, then we're speaking their language. Mr. Customer, I'm going to show you $180,000 of savings on your 12-unit fleet over the next 5 years. How soon do you want to go ahead and get those orders in, or go ahead and me to get those vehicles upfit for you for your application, right? We don't need to negotiate on $500 or another $1,500 when we're showing them six-figure savings on their operational cost, which translates into profitability for their bottom line, right? So keep that in mind. When you save your customer money on fuel, when you save your customer money on maintenance, you are contributing to their bottom line and ultimately the success and their profitability. So it's just how we think or frame that. And then lastly, that data and information. Here we are, almost. We're a couple of months away from knocking on halfway through 2025. Can you believe that? With all the information, with all the data, with all the analytics that there's out there, providing our customers that information at their fingertips is going to be our value play there, right? So I want to show you what the fleet management companies are doing. I want to show you some of the modeling, excuse me, and some of the talking points that they're talking to perhaps customers right now. And I want to ask you, based on what you see here in the shaded box there, the solution box, which solutions are you offering your customers right now? What are you putting on the table to have those discussions with your customers? So this is one of the first portions of our interactive session today. Go to the chat box, please. Give you some time to type if you need to type, or come off mute out of what you see on the screen. Or if you don't see something on the screen there, what are you doing right now? What solutions are you putting on the table? What are you offering your clients in those day-to-day discussions and conversations you're having? Who wants to be the first one to kick us off? Give folks time to chat. If you got a microphone, want to come off mute, please get us started. I want today's session we want to hear from you today. It's not going to just be me talking. It's going to be us interacting. So I appreciate whoever wants to get us kicked off so that we can have a natural progression from there. Greg, good morning. All right, Shane, thank you. Appreciate that. Uh, Thank you. I'm checking the chat box. Please come off mute as well. I appreciate that. Shane is talking to his clients about tracking, the maintenance management, the fuel management, analytics, track lease. Excellent. All real strong topics that we have a lot of information that we can share with our clients. We call that delivering insight, right? And tailoring it to their needs. Um, Shane, based on what you just put there, I'm guessing you're having several meetings with the client because you have a lot that you can cover with them. So you're naturally closing for the next step in the process or what you uncover or learn in the fact find. I take it then that allows for more exploration and discussion from there. So excellent. Stephen, I appreciate you hitting the chat box as well there. I see your fuel management and also the fuel or the reporting aspects as well. Yeah, that data, the analytics. You got to fuel these vehicles, Mr. Customer. You got to maintain these vehicles, Mr. Customer. Let me show you how you can do it without paying more than you need to do those two aspects, right? I think most people will be all ears for that. Appreciate Shane and Steven getting us kicked off. Can I hear from one other person? Don't want to be greedy, but I definitely want to hear from everyone that has either a microphone or wants to go to the chat box. Let me get one more participant in the chat box. Joseph, appreciate it. Thank you, sir. And again, we're not limited to three, so don't hesitate if you're still typing on something. I want to hear from you. But please share. This helps reinforce what we learn on these Cars and Coffee. We're sharing best practices and ideas. So this is, trust me, beneficial in more ways than one for everyone. So keep the chat box going. I appreciate that. Let me see what Joseph says here. With the fleet management, you're selling a service. It's more than selling a vehicle. Completely agree with that, Joseph. Strong statement. If you sell that concept, the value in the service is a holistic remedy to their needs. Of the sale of the vehicles become a residual result, providing the service first. I love it. So we're selling beyond the metal. We're selling around the metal. But yes, ultimately, to call it that vacuum effect, right? It's naturally the vehicles are going to come with that. It's part of the program. I like that word holistic remedy, that holistic approach, that holistic solution. Excellent. Appreciate that. Shane, Steve, and Joseph. Anyone else? I don't want to cut it off at three, but I did want to at least hear from a few of our guests today on the call. Anyone else want to come off mute or go to the chat? I'll give you another 15 seconds or so. But thank you. I want to continue to hear from everyone on the line. So please, if you're in the middle of typing something, don't stop or don't delete it. Hit that send button when you're ready, and I will acknowledge all those chat contributions, I should say. Thank you. All right, another 10 seconds. Last call. If anyone else wants to talk about what solutions they are putting on the table, what discussions they are having with their customers. All right, I'll keep an eye on the chat box, but please keep the chat box open. Any microphones, greatly appreciated. Come off mute as well. Let's keep it rolling. All right, so I took what we just talked about and tried to make a little bit of a graphic, a little bit of a visual, right? But to me, what's important here are all these aspects we see on the screen. They're very important for our customer and their decision-making teams. So when we know that someone's responsible for one or maybe many or several of these categories, why not position ourselves up to set them up for success in their role, right? So I remember as a former commercial account manager myself, I had to be mindful of who I was talking to, either their influencers, the decision maker, the decision making team or teams, and make sure I was speaking to each way I could benefit them in their position. I don't want to come across as being a threat or on one end of, this may take my job, right? I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to help you do your job. I'm looking to make you be the hero I'm going to look in for you to help you show the client, company you work for, how to do it a better way, save time, save money, improve your bottom line. That maybe would call for opportunity, promotion, or enhancement to your position, right? To me, I look at that as, let me help you shore up, solidify, and enhance what you're already doing for your business, right? It's that angle, it's that approach. So I just wanted to remind us that, we have different sort of folks involved, whether it's maybe having some of those initial conversations from the gatekeeper on up, right? But you got operations involved that speak to what we can do to help them and their operational abilities and capabilities. If we have maybe the CFOs is looking really, hey, what's it running on our budget to acquire these? And then don't forget, what's that residual value look like? We drive them till the wheels fall off. We expect $750. We have a wrecker come and pick them up when they die in the parking lot, right? Well, let me show you how to get more than $750 for them. Let me show you how to boost your brand, your image. Let me show you how to increase your employee satisfaction and morale so that you have folks that are proud of what they're driving, happy to show up to work, excited to do a good job for your business. And what about the fleet manager and maybe the maintenance management side of the house? Gosh, these fuel bills are really, really adding up. We can't control them. Let's talk about our fuel card program. Let's talk about telematics tracking that performance of the vehicle, right? Anyone else want to go to the chat box and share what they're saying to we'll call them the stakeholders, we'll call them the decision-making team or the influencers. Anyone else want to share an angle or an approach that they're doing, having maybe some success, or sharing any kind of strategy of how we're offering our program? I want to hear from you. Let me get one or two responses in the chat box, how you're doing it and what you're either saying or how you're going about it. Love to hear from you. Let me give you another 30 seconds or so. I want to hear from one or two folks for your influencers to the decision maker, for the decision makers you're talking to on the phone, email, text, in person. What are some of those hot button items, I should say, excuse me. You get one or two chat boxes, contributions before we move forward. I know the chat box is working because I heard from some of you earlier. So Shane's quick on the keyboard. Thank you, Shane. Shane is talking about how to find profit out of the vehicle, not just the revenue from the work of the vehicle. Appreciate that, Shane. Thank you for getting us started. Anyone else want to share? I know I said at least one. We got the one. Do we have a second? Anyone else want to share? I see all caps there for profit, what Shane says. These businesses are for-profit entities, at least the vast majority of them that we work with are. They didn't start a business to save money. I need to sit down. This is important. I want to show you how to make more money with your fleet. Let me show you. You're experts in heating and air and construction and plumbing, electrical, whatever trade, whatever industry vertical you are. Let me show you how we can take our experience with our program and be able to maximize your bottom line, your profitability. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. Nick says, giving them time back in the day. Exactly. So profit and time. So I'm hearing time and money, and we know time is money for the most part. So I'm seeing a similar theme there. Thank you both, Nick and Shane. I really appreciate y'all going to the chat box. If you're in the middle of typing something, don't hit backspace, delete, or exit out of it. Hit submit, send it, and I'll keep rolling for the sake of time. But thank you to those in the chat box. Let's talk about now, big picture, what this looks like in the industry. So you probably have seen this slide on a prior call, but again, it's still relevant because as we're progressing into 25, heading to 2027, this is the potential of the market. So we know in 21 to 22, historical data, 15 billion to 25.5 billion. It's a big jump in 1 year, right? Well, let's look at what we're looking at here in the next couple of years. 52 and just under $52.5 billion with a B. We want our piece of that pie. That screams to me ample opportunity. Now, there's other folks that see that and have opportunity as well. So we need to be mindful. And let's talk about those fleet management third parties. Let's talk about their approach. Is it working? Do we need to do it the way we've always done it? Or do we need to look at another way to be cutting edge, to bring the client value, to sell, not just the vehicles and sell around the metal, sell our program, the complete holistic offering, to use, I think, Joseph's words earlier, right? So in 21, Merchants grew by 500 million. Huge jump 1 year. Third quarter 23, Element 17.5 year over year, over 22 to 23. Big jump. November 23, Element 1.39 billion. And then now here we go, fast forward. We have the 2024 guidance results. You could see, look at these operating margins. Look at the net revenue figures here. So, there are a lot of players in the commercial and fleet. We saw in the last slide up to 50 some odd billion. I think it was 52.5 billion, right? They're already claiming they're almost $1.4 billion chunk of the pie, and they're looking for more. They're hungry, right? So what else? What else do we see? Let's look at the industry. This is what Element's telling their shareholders, their stakeholders, right, as a publicly traded entity. They're saying that the self-managed fleets there in the lighter blue shade is represents 55% of the market. A little more than half of the client of the business out there are self-managed fleets. Now, self-managed fleets means they're not using a fleet management company, and I would argue that's the vast majority of our dealership-based business, right? And so we would be to our disadvantage if that 55% the light blue, we're not offering our program to them because in that darker shade of blue, the FMC managed fleets, which represent almost half, 45% of the market, they are very, very hungry to make the fleet management companies the majority of the business. Right now, they're 45%, just a slight minority ownership of the market, right? Look at Element of that 45% chunk of the market under FMC, call it control, call it doing business, etc. Element's got 30% of that, so they're hungry. Then they've established a presence, and they're telling folks this is where the opportunity is in that light blue. We're coming after it, and we're showing $4.4 billion in annual net revenue opportunity as a result. So if this doesn't scream opportunity for us to make sure we're protecting our customer base, that light blue, that's your book of business there potentially, right? Protect it, insulate it. Work to make sure that if they receive a phone call, text, email, or a meeting invite to talk about how to make more profit with their fleet, to talk to them about taking the administrative burden of keeping up with all the day-to-day operations of their fleet, to talk to them about reducing maintenance cost and fuel cost, talk to them about making more profit with the fleet. Make sure that they tell them, you know what? I'm already engaged. I'm in a program right now with the call it any of our dealer partners on the line here, right? Name any one of our dealer partners on the line. We have Van Horn and Nick. We got Shane there in Capital. We have other we have Huffines there in the Greg team. Jennifer, everyone else on the line. My chat box is disappearing on me there. I got it minimized. But you get the point, right? Are they in your program? Are they aware that you have a program if they're maybe not there at the point of enrolling yet? And or are they going to take that phone call and say, "Wait, I'm just buying trucks right now from ABC Chevrolet. You can take all this off my plate. You can deliver them to me. You can do all this other stuff from a fuel and maintenance standpoint. I can't keep up with this anymore. I got to worry about my book of business." Anyone else have any comments, thoughts, or ideas there that they'd like to share? Let me go back to the chat box here. Joseph, appreciate it. Let me see here what you said. With the current economic climate and the uncertainty that many business owners face, a fleet management system can insulate their company from an external market conditions. Completely agree with that. Fleet management fortifies the business against the unknown. Love it, Joseph. You're taking what could be considered a perceived either weakness or perceived fear and turning it to a strength. Hey, let me protect you from that volatility. Let me protect you from having to be concerned about what the interest rate is going up or down. Let me show you what my track lease looks like, where you have a budget for what you're paying for your vehicles. You don't need to worry. You know, you don't need to absorb this full concern over, well, is it a tariff here or a tariff there, etc. Right? Let me put you in the driver's seat and control the controllables. How? Let me show you the total cost of ownership. Let me show you all the aspects. You're not just paying for the acquisition. You're fueling that vehicle. You're maintaining that vehicle, right? Let me show you when that vehicle is worth the optimal time to cycle it out. So appreciate that. Anyone else want to share any thoughts, comments, or ideas? Come off mute, go to the chat box. Want to hear from you. Give you an opportunity here to chime in. All right, let's keep it rolling. Don't hit pause, delete, or backspace. Send what you have, and I'll address it in the chat accordingly. All right, as we wrap up the fleet management approach, that angle, I want to just drive this point home because it's really important. What we don't want to be is the blockbuster that sees Netflix. We're the blockbuster as dealers. Netflix is the FMC, and we don't think they're a threat to our business. Don't want to be dramatic. I don't want to be catastrophize anything. I don't want to be, overemphasizing anything. I'm just looking at the data, looking at the numbers. I'm looking at what they're telling their shareholders. What is Element telling the shareholders? Our new clients, we're going to earn our market share by converting the self-managed fleets. Those are dealer fleets, dealer customers base that do not have a fleet management program, right? That's their formula. And that's how they're going to get from the 45% of the market share and erode that 55. That's their goal. And I hope that we're all going to, take this to heart and make sure we put our foot down saying, my book of business is protected. My book of business is locked down. Here's what I'm doing to insulate my book of business from any of these external threats in the market, right? So you also, when you have your client enrolled in a program, it leads to higher profits. They're not questioning you. You're in the driver's seat. Hey, we need to cycle out this vehicle. Here's the data and analytics on it. How can I argue with the numbers? Yeah, let's go ahead and get that vehicle on order. Go ahead and send it to the upfit. It's on the ground, ready. Let's roll. When they're in your portfolio, you get incremental business. Maybe the ownership, maybe the manager, maybe the husband or the wife or the family members need vehicles. That's incremental business that we have by having them in our portfolio, right? Just wanted to point that out as I round out the FMC sort of angle and approach. Make sure it's crystal clear to us why this is so crucial, right? All right. So why on our end do we need to make sure that we're offering this to our clients, right? What's in it for them? Well, they can gain a competitive advantage when we're talking to them about the strategic guidance that we can offer with our program, cycling plans, maintenance programs, fuel card programs, right? What does it do? It maximizes their ROI, their bottom line. We used the word profitability in all caps earlier, right, Shane? Financial control, we're speaking that language. Operationally, whether it's a fleet manager, an ops team, et cetera, that side of the house, there are a lot of eyes looking at them on the P&L from whether it's efficiency, whether it's cost, whether it's streamlining that operations workflow and process. We can assist the clients with any and all of these that you see here on the screen, right? Keep going. So drilling it down a little bit more. How can we help them with cost control and reduction? Mr. Customer, you're currently right now using a company credit card. I'd love to show you how our fuel card management program allows you with putting the driver pin to safeguard that, to be able to have cost controls, controls on the number of gallons that can be pumped with that car. If you have a 20-gallon tank, 5 gallons worth of equipment, we don't need to be pumping more than 25 gallons at the pump, do we? No, we don't. Let's put some caps on those. Let's put some parameters in place. Make sure that everything is staying above board and in compliance, right? Let's look at our maintenance schedule to make sure that we're reducing that downtime. When a vehicle's in the shop, customers usually paying for it twice. One, how much does it cost for the shop to repair it? Two, the downtime, the opportunity cost, the missing out on taking care of another customer. And I'd argue maybe even a third. Maybe they have to go rent a vehicle to cover that vehicle while it's in the shop, right? So let's talk to our customers about reducing costs, how they can keep those in their control. And again, when you're not having idle vehicles in the shop or reduced downtime, you're maximizing your asset utilization, and so everything is optimized, everything is efficient, right? Operation efficiency, speaking right of that, is we have the real-time capability, right? That usually ties to our telematics piece. This is not Big Brother. We're not spying on your drivers. We're trying to allow you to make faster decisions. When you can act with speed, you make decisions quickly, you have confidence, and you're able to then move to the next task, customer, whatever it is, opportunity that you have throughout your day, right? Not getting bogged down into, well, let me call the driver, leave him a voicemail. He's unable to call me back till he's done with that job in 45 minutes. No, we don't need to make up the call. We don't need to distract him from his work. We can pull it right up, know where he's at, know that he's supposed to be done about 45 minutes. We'll schedule our route accordingly for the remainder of the day. Something urgent came up, a high revenue or high profitable opportunity in that area. We can reallocate resources, reschedule resources, take care of that client. Let's reduce manual tasks. Let's use automation. Let's make it easier, save time, like Nick said earlier, make more money, like Shane said earlier, right? And then optimize things. When you optimize things, you're more efficient. You get the better value for the dollar, and you're really able to just cover more ground with less, right? Safety and compliance. We're hearing this all the time. I would argue 2025 probably has started with such a focus on safety. I don't know if it's New Year's resolutions that are bleeding into now, the second quarter of the year or what, but cameras. Talk to me about how I can improve safety. I have excellent employees, but they're not that great behind the wheel. They're distracted driving. They're texting and driving. Their AirPods or their earbud Bluetooth guys, and they got their phone on the wheel, and the hand on the wheel and the other hand on their head with the phone holding it, right? let's talk about how we can reduce the reliability, the negligence, increase safety. They need any kind of peace of mind for regulatory compliance, inspections, etc. Let's show them where all that information is available for them. Make it simple, make it easy, right? I'm a huge fan of data-driven decision making because when you have better data, you can simply make better decisions, right? Confidence, peace of mind. The data supports whether you should or should not do something. So it takes the subjective nature, the opinion piece out, and it allows it to be objective based on the facts. And that is critical for businesses looking to keep that competitive advantage, that edge, etc. That's the way to do it, right? So you have reporting, we have dashboards, we have analytics, we have preset reporting available, we have customized reporting available. We can automate those. We can have them set at an interval. You want it once a week, once a month, however you want it, every morning. We can set that up, etc. And then we can provide them the data to make sure that the cycling plan or recommendation that we offer them, we'll talk about that more later with our cash flow tool, our cycling tool. Let's make sure that when with it, the data in real time is matching up and marrying up to what we recommend, or we just adjust and pivot based on what the data tells us, right? Their data, the real data. And then we tailor those insights. Remember, teach, tailor, take control, the challenger sale methodology there. This is specifically tailored to them. This is not a cookie cut approach. So whatever their concerns, maybe this is one KPI that's important to them. Maybe this is one aspect or element of what they consider what their success metrics are. We can tie into that directly and help support those causes, right? Scalability and growth. Uh, Frankly, if customers aren't in growth mode, then they're going stagnant, right? So we can help them, whether it's talking about CRM, being able to in the CRM piece to be able to explore, excuse me, with our CRM, using the CRM, we can explore opportunities. Excuse me, there, I was looking at it from the wrong angle. I apologize. Using our CRM and integrating the data that we have to tie into our customer follow-ups. If we know that we have quarterly account meetings with the client, semi-annual account meetings with the client, whatever that may be, right? And on our end, being able to integrate that to make it easy. Don't wait for the customer to say, hey, are we supposed to meet to talk about what's going on in my fleet? I had two vehicles in the shop now for 2 weeks. This is getting a little out of hand, isn't it? We're in control there with the data, right? Just being able to manage all the steps, all the aspects in that process there. And this is again tying it to how we kicked off the call. The third parties are talking to the customer about their ROI, their bottom line. Talk to them about cost of ownership and operation, not talking about the price of just buying the vehicle on the front end, right? They're showing them technology and the solutions that are available to make the complex simple. And they're pointing out pain points to them, whether it's using the analysis, whether it's leveraging the fact find process. And that is where we have a lot of opportunity is to ask the customer questions and allow them to tell us where their pain resides, where we can help them, and we point to the solutions, right? If there were 5 fact find questions that I could ask my customer, if they hypothetically said, Ryan, I'm happy to set up initial meeting with you. I'm going to limit you to 5 questions. I personally would touch on these 5 categories. Fueling the vehicle. How do they fuel the vehicle right now? What does that look like, right? Do they have a fuel card? Do they use a company card, driver reimbursement? So that's number one. Number two is telematics. They're using any technology, any kind of not just GPS, but business intelligence or information that comes off the vehicle, miles per gallon, check engine light, safety, speeding, seatbelts, you name it. Number three is when you buy, how do you buy? Are you a cash buyer? You know about track leasing. How does that work? How does that look like? And then when it comes to cycling, do you have a cycle plan in place? Is it a certain amount of years you're using the vehicles? Is it a certain amount of miles you're using the vehicles? What does that look like, right? So again, to recap, we have the fuel card, we have the telematics, we have how do you buy, and we have when do you know it's time to buy. And then the last piece that I would recommend is keeping up with maintenance, right? The maintenance. Who you use for maintenance and or when it's time for preventive maintenance, how do you know? Is it just that sticker, that little sticker up there in the upper left corner of the window? Is that the maintenance management program you use? You wait for the driver to look up, see that it's 3,500 miles past the oil change interval. Is that your current process? Or what are you doing right now to automate that, to have those alerts come through at the appropriate interval? Let's talk about that. So, talking about our program, we're selling beyond the vehicles. We have a comprehensive, holistic program, not just the metal. Yes, we want to move more units more often at higher profits, but we're selling beyond the vehicle, and those vehicles will come with it, right? So we're simplifying the client's job with both operational as well as just all the data that's involved with keeping up with the fleet. And we're allowing our customers to do what do you do best, Mr. Customer? Is your core business. You're not experts in fleets, in fueling, in maintenance, and upfit, all the stuff that we do. Let us take care of that. You focus on your customers. You focus on making as much money and profitability and growing your business. We'll free them up so that they can focus on that and do what they do best. So I want to just remind you of all the aspects available to you in the program, the sort of the four pillars of the program, if you will. Number one, the vehicles, which we sometimes can be singularly focused on. That's the acquisition piece. Remember, talking about the track lease opportunity, looking at the end of life, the remarketing, the cycling, naturally the beginning, the middle, and the end of that vehicle cycle, and then who those vehicles are assigned to and how they get used and what they use them for, right? But remember, 2, 3, and 4 there's plenty of opportunity for us to point to back to number 1, but by asking questions, setting up fact finds, learning more about how they operate for numbers 2, 3, and 4. Maintenance, not just routine maintenance, the PMs. What do you do when something unexpected happens? Driver's going down the road, here's a loud noise, vehicle stops working, has to pull off on the shoulder. What are we doing to get that driver out of harm's way from a safety standpoint? What are we doing to make sure that we're sending that vehicle to the appropriate shop to get it fixed? Is it under warranty? Are we maximizing our warranty use? If you're driving until the wheel falls off, you don't need to worry about your warranty. You can just worry about how big that bill is coming in to take care of that repair because you don't have any warranty life, right? How do you pay for that? Do you have any consolidated invoicing? They have a company credit card on file. Who's having to reconcile all those payments at the end of the week or end of the month? Let's talk about those manual tasks that are involved there, right? What about fuel tracking? How you paying for it? Do you have any controls in place limiting gallons that shouldn't be pumped, limiting spending that on the weekends when you only operate during the week? Being able to look at reports, what is your miles per gallon, et cetera. And then lastly, telematics. Where are my vehicles? How are my vehicles being treated? And what kind of health are my vehicles in? Those reports, those analytics, et cetera, right? So I want to challenge you for our next step. I want to challenge each person on the call to start with, and this is a minimum challenge. So let me know how many you can exceed it with getting one cash flow analysis completed between now and in the month of May and the end of this month, right? So the next 4 weeks. That's our challenge. Go to the chat box. Give me a yes or no if you're open to accepting the challenge for asking for and obtaining a fleet list so that we can go ahead and get a cash flow analysis completed for you in the month of May. Go to the chat box. Give me a yes or a no. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know if you're bought in, if you're on the fence. Steven, first one with the give me the yes. Appreciate that, Steven. Appreciate you accepting the challenge, stepping up to the plate. Looking forward to hearing from you on your success and blast past that one that I'm putting out there. Let me know who can get 2 or 3 this month, right? Anyone else besides Steven want to step up to the plate, accept the challenge for the month of May to ask for and obtain a fleet list so that we can perform cash flow analysis for the client. Show them a different experience and presentation to be worth paying for. Anyone else besides Steven? Joseph, appreciate you seconding that. Got 2 yeses. Who else on the call wants to give me a yes or no, a thumbs up, thumbs down? Or if you're somewhere in between, if you're hesitant, if you're shy, if you're not sure, put that. Don't know, maybe. I'll think about it. Give me your response in the chat. I want to hear from at least another 1 or 2. I want to have at least half the call, if not ideally everyone on the call participating, right? Give me a yes, give me a no, thumbs up, thumbs down. Give me a maybe. Give me I'll think about it. I need more time. We need to talk one-on-one on open hours about ways I can go about asking for that fleet list, how I need to present it, expand upon what we've already talked about on this Cars and Coffee. How do I tell the customer what's in it for them? Am I going to get anyone else to give me a yes or no in the chat? Give it another 10 seconds. Love to hear from you if you're up for the challenge. I know we got some competitive folks on this call right now, so let me make sure my chat box isn't frozen because I was expecting a few more yeses or thumbs up. Jennifer's going to do it. All right. Jennifer's going to step up. Appreciate that. Let's go, Jennifer. All right, Steve, going once, going twice, going three times. So we have Steven stepping up, Joseph stepping up, and Shane saying Jennifer is going to do it. Excellent. Appreciate y'all doing that. Thank you. So we're going to use the customer's data and we're going to personalize and tailor that presentation to their need. You're going to see, you're going to find, back to bringing this full circle, we want to move more metal, more units, right? When we show the customer our presentation, if they're considering buying one, two, whatever it is, cash, the impact that the cash flow analysis presents, especially when we leverage the track leasing element, is usually 2 to 4 times the impact. So let me give you an example. If they're looking for one, we could maybe be proposing 2, 3, up to 4 units with the track. They're looking at two, that could be 4. That could be up to 8 units. You see how it magnifies, right? So that is the important part of this aspect. How do we move more metal? We sell beyond the metal. We offer our program. We provide the cash flow analysis. We show the client a better way. Show them how to make more money. What does it mean for us? It's a win. It's a win as well because we're going to have a bigger impact on the bottom line. Just a reminder of the fleet analysis tool. I'll be focusing on my next Cars and Coffee, upcoming one coming up, a couple weeks, on utilizing the tool, leveraging the tool. This is a tool you should be showing off to your customers. This is a game changer, a differentiator. This is not something that the other dealers have that they can show their customer, so it gives you a competitive advantage. So, use the tools in the program. Get your value out of being a dealer partner and being able to provide the client these solutions. Let's win more deals. Let's move more metal. Let's make it easier. I want to thank everyone for their time today. I want to open it up for any questions in the chat box, any comments, any thoughts, any ideas, feedback. Shane says, we use it. It wins for us. Appreciate it, Shane. Appreciate that feedback. I know those that are using it are sharing success stories. If you're hesitant in using it, if it's overwhelming to you, if you think it's complicated, let's have a chat on open hours. Let's have one-on-one. We're here to help support you. We're here to help train you. We're here to help make sure that it becomes easy and simple for you. Yes, there's a lot of information in it, but when you really understand the inputs we need, it is not complicated. It's just a matter of understanding and comprehending, digesting those sort of buckets or categories, and then the tool will automate it for us, right? We just got to plug it in. So we got to shut Nick. I'll let Nick speak to that one, Shane. I don't know how many cups of coffee Nick's on today, so I don't want to speak for him, but I see that in the chat box. Let me open it up for any questions. Let me stop share. Oh, I did want to point out for those. Quick reminder, go to the chat box. If you do not have a login to our onenexusdealertraining.com website, it would have been an automated message from Odoo is our web developer platform. It allows us to send you via email credentials to create a password. You log in with your email, and you are able to access all of the Cars and Coffee trainings on demand. We put them up within usually 1 week, about 5 business days. So usually you log in today, you'd see last week's, you'd see this one probably by tomorrow into business, maybe next week. So you, your team, etc., can reference prior Cars and Coffee training content. So if you don't have that, either go to the chat, say I need it, put your email in there. You got my email, phone number. If you don't, I'll put it in the chat right now. Write me a line, send me a text, give me a call, text, email. We will send you an email to you, and you will create a password. You log in to our website, onenexusdealertraining.com. Go to the chat if you need that, don't have it. Reminder of Focus Fridays tomorrow. Focus Fridays, we'll have great content to share with you tomorrow. And okay, Nick and Shane, I love the banter and the competitive back and forth in the chat. Appreciate that, Nick and Shane. Thank you. Let me open it up for any thoughts or comments before I turn it over to Colleen for some closing words of wisdom today. I want to thank everyone, Nick, Shane, Joseph, Stephen, Ryan, Greg, and David for being here today. I really hope you found this beneficial, informative, and helpful for you. Anyone doesn't have any thoughts or want to come off chat? Sorry, come off mute or go to the chat. Let me turn it to you, Colleen.
Okay. Thanks so much for the dealers that are on the line right now. I really appreciate not only the partnership, but the engagement. I know it's tough circumstances out there right now with selling the program while people are distracted with what's going on with tariffs and what's going on in the news every day. But stay the course. Full it. We have at least we've been running this program just under 5 years, and we have hundreds of examples of dealerships winning with selling the full complement of services, not only with the cash flow analysis and the cycling recommendations, but also being subject matter experts in the telematics space as well as the fleet management space. So definitely continue to use your subject matter experts. We've got our strategist team, you've got your OEM partners, and of course, we've got the network subject matter experts and reporting out there as well to help us gain these customers, not only for right now, but for life. Right now, we are taking a look on another note at some of the content that we're putting out and the formats that we're putting out. And we know there's some specific challenges out there for dealerships, whether it's new hires coming on board and trying to get them up to speed with selling the program, or how to overcome some hurdles that are common objections right now to people that are stalled in moving their deals forward. We'd love to have some of that feedback either to myself or directly to the strategist so we can keep this content extremely relevant and helpful as you continue to master selling the program. So thanks so much. We appreciate, like I said, your engagement, and have a great day.
All right. So thanks, everyone. Come back tomorrow for Focus Fridays. Appreciate everyone being here. Have a great week.